thanks for listening today, folks. It's the Agriculture Show here on CKMS Radio 100.3 Sound FM. And today is episode number 154, and my guest today is Bruce Sargent. And my goodness, we have such an odd and unusual winter this year. We're in the midst of probably going to be a record-breaking cold for last night, I suspect.
Let alone the snow that came down this weekend with next to no warning. Yes.
I know. So no end to the surprises here this year for us here in southern Ontario. Now, Bruce is, as all my great guests as well, on some wonderful musics, and I'm going to ask him to talk about his first song here is High Valley, and the title is Let It Be Me.
So High Valley is definitely one of my favorite bands in country music right now. I love their sound. They've got some great instruments, and it's a family band. And Let It Be Me came out a couple of years ago, and it's just kind of about a guy and a girl, and the guy wants to be the guy for his girl. So that's what that song's about.
I just love classic love songs and romance and stuff. Good choice. Okay, folks, we're off to a good start here. It's Tuesday, March the 5th. March. I think it's March because it's so snowy. April 5th of 2016. Just stay locked in. We'll be back. My guest today is Bruce Sargent. See you in a short bit. And we're back, and thanks for listening in, good dear listeners. Today is April 5th. I've been doing that path already. And my guest today is Bruce Sargent. Got the great song, Bruce. Do you remember where you first heard that song? What were you doing? The song sort of sneak up on it. So any thoughts on that?
It would have been when I was at the University of Guelph. I can't remember the exact time, but it was definitely a song that I played quite regularly when I found it.
All right. It's a great song. I went to the University of Guelph, and back in the day they had the bull ring and they had the Stampede Corral. Is it down there, Stampede Ranch? What do they call that?
Stampede Ranch. That's the one.
One of those favorite hangouts, and it'd be a great song for that. Once again, thanks for coming on, Bruce. We're going to start off our show as usual, and I'll ask you, tell us all about who you are, and then anything you'd like to tell us about family and parents and all that kind of good stuff, where you live. And where do you call home, Bruce? Are you a farm kid by chance?
I am. So I grew up on a dairy farm on the east side of Toronto, just north of Bowmanville. So my family milks 50 Jersey cows, the brown ones, and contrary to popular belief, they don't make just chocolate milk.
I used to milk Jersey cows. Go ahead.
So when I was in high school, my high school was actually brand new, and I got quite involved in communications technology, and that's what led me to go to Guelph for marketing. And I decided to major in marketing management my first year at Guelph, and then shortly thereafter that I started Farm Boy Productions. So I produced media, mostly video, a lot of photography, for the marketing and advertising and communications of farms and agricultural businesses. And it was pretty funny when I started it. My dad still doesn't get technology, but he actually pushed me to do my business because he saw that I believed in it, and he was one of my early supporters and definitely one of my big supporters. So that had a big impact. And so my dad has farmed all his life. He's a sixth generation farmer. And my mom's side would be about the same. Grew up on a dairy farm as well, and they met showing cows way back in the day.
And so are they still doing milking cows, running a farm?
Yep, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, absolutely.
And so back from time to time you find your way back there. There must be quite a gathering for Christmas and Easter and all those family events and Thanksgiving.
When the whole family gets together, it's a pretty big deal. My older sister's actually just finishing up school in Boston. She's going to be an eye doctor, so she's kind of been gone for 4 years, and she's coming back this spring. So that'll be nice to have all of the family back in the province.
Yeah. Well, the family is a big part of agriculture in Ontario. The family farm is an image and a reality that I think a lot of our listeners, our urban listeners, would probably identify with, and you're a part of that. So. What else are you're busy? Do you have any hobbies you like to do? Are you like building a boat in your basement or something, or sports?
Sports quite a bit.
Right.
I play hockey, as every good Canadian should, and I actually coach my little brother's hockey as well. They won their playoff championships 3 weekends ago. total upset. Started at the bottom of the pack, fourth place, and by the end of the season, they were number one, and they were losing the game until the last 38 seconds, and came back and scored 3 goals in a minute. So hockey's a big thing, and I also play soccer and volleyball as well.
Yeah. You're got a full schedule. Any chance to get together with your old classmates and see what they're up to? I guess living in Guelph, you have probably good access to seeing some of those other folks.
My volleyball team is made up of classmates, yep. And the nice thing about working in agriculture is that you go to anything, any meeting, anything, and you see somebody that you went to school with or were in 4-H with or have some sort of background or connection with. That's the nice thing about the industry.
So I like that story, and I'm glad you had a chance to say it. Looking forward to your maybe meeting again. You can tell me all about what's happening at the dairy farm. If they're still happy milking cows, it's still a good lifestyle, but certainly a lot of work.
Absolutely. Farming in general, you've got to love it to do it. Dairy farming is just that much more. It's a lot of work, but my parents love it. My family loves it.
It's good. Let's play another song, and Bruce, and we'll come back and talk a little about what you're doing. You did give a little inclination to us or indication. Farm Boy production sounds like lots of fun. So, but let's first of all play another song, and this next one up here is the name is the band. The artist is the band Perry, and the song is "Live Forever." Tell us about this tune, please.
So this is a newer song, and the band Perry, I really love them, and this is kind of them being a little bit more poppy, but it's definitely a song for young people and making something of themselves. And I actually played this song after I won an award last fall, and it really stuck with me.
Very nice.
So I really like it.
Are you a concert goer by chance? You like to go see music?
Not a ton, but I like my music. I've got good headphones and good sound system at home. I like to listen to my music.
Okay. Let's play the song, folks. Stay locked in. We're at episode number 154 of the Agriculture Show on CKMS, and my guest today is Bruce Sargent. See you in a short bit. Welcome back, dear listeners, and thanks for tuning in today to the Agriculture Show here on CKMS Radio, 101.3 Sound FM. My guest today is Bruce Sargent, and we got to know him a little bit about, he's got sports he's busy with, and mom and dad are milking cows, and he's got his business he alluded to, and some interesting stuff. It ties in with the last song we played. It was after you had received a CAMA award. But let's first things first. Tell us about what is your I guess you call your main avocation, your main interest right now, the Farm Boy Productions. What is that? That sounds cool.
Yeah, so I work for a lot of businesses around Ontario and even Canada, depending on the need, and I do video production in agriculture. So the businesses would prefer to work with me because of my farming background. I'm comfortable on a farm. I know what I need to do in terms of, large machinery, livestock. Know the right questions to ask, know the right footage to get, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the times I'm making promotional videos for a product or the business or a person. Actually, a local example of what I've done is if you went to Fear Farm last year, they just opened the Carnival feature. And my videos are actually the intro to the feature. So you walk into the main hallway and there's 2 TV screens and there's a clown on either one, and I'm the one that produced the video that is that whole creepy story to start it all off.
So you can cover a lot of different, not just facts and figures, but also a mood and an associated image with an event.
Yeah, we do creative stuff and we do the more business-oriented stuff. But I do quite a bit of ag awareness type things. Farm and Food Care I really love working for them and getting the word out there about what farmers are doing and why they're doing it. And so we do videos for the calendar that they do every year, and the video just adds a little bit more depth to the story, shows who the farmer is, shows their family. They get to share what they do and why they love what they do, and it's a nice project.
It's really cool. This wasn't too long ago that the agricultural industry kind of clued in and thought we'd better join in with the modern media presentation, how people are picking up information nowadays. And it couldn't have been too many years ago that a job like yours thought, well, that poor guy's going to starve to death, because why would you want to go farm? But that's changed.
6 years ago, the technology that I'm using now doesn't exist.
Right.
did not exist, and my business would not have started. But just because of the way technology keeps getting pushed down to the bottom end professional and the high end consumer, cameras are much more easier to get now, and the quality is amazing at the price that I can justify.
True.
And even now, just last year, I started using a drone for flying my camera. So it's an octocopter, and it takes beautiful video, absolutely beautiful, knock you over.
Yeah.
But lots of other stuff like that. The drone manufacturer developed a handheld version that's called a Ronin, and I can walk around with that on a farm in my hands, and it'll perfectly stabilize wherever I go, everything I do, everywhere I look. So like all of that didn't exist. Like batteries didn't last this long. Memory cards were tiny. I mean, remember when you used to have a 218 megabyte camera card?
Yeah.
I've got 32 gigs in that camera right now.
Yeah, it's just altogether different. It's just top quality stuff out there. But your business is a lot different to some, and I just want to get back to you are from a farm, and you have right off the bat know so much more about how this shot, what you can do, can't do, safety, all that kind of thing.
It's rapport with the farmer too.
Right.
It makes a really big difference. I just finished a campaign for the Egg Farmers of Ontario, and it'll be on buses and billboards later this year. But they're the highest end portrait photos that I've definitely ever taken, and I saw them for the first time this weekend, and they're beautiful. And the farmers look comfortable. They're confident. They're able to be in their element and not feel awkward or out of place or uncomfortable. And that shows through the photo, and it shows in video even more. When I roll in a driveway, if the farmer doesn't know who I am, I can immediately establish that connection.
Right.
And it's beyond just throwing a couple of lines out or asking the right questions. It's being able to analyze the information and come up with an intelligent follow-up question. That's what the farmer's looking for, and that's what proves that you know what you're talking about.
Well, that's a good point. And then we'll get to that in a part of other section, and we'll call it, we're going to call our third or fourth section, what's the funniest thing someone ever asked you? So when you get to the farms, and you can develop a rapport with your with the farmer, and takes away that why would that person ask that question, and it's confounding. Well, I think of it too. Nowadays farmers, guess what? Part of your job now is to get your message out, and this is a whole new skill set for a lot of people in agriculture. And lots, and you'll agree. You got to agree with this. Just be yourself, right?
Absolutely. My now that my business is this much further along, and part of what I do now too is training farmers to be on video if they're sharing their story. My dad has gotten better at it. When he first started, he wouldn't touch it, but now he's gotten much better at it.
Right.
And the hard thing is that in an ideal world, my dad could focus on farming and doing a good job at that, because he does. But now he's got to add this added job that he has no training in and no experience in, but he knows that he needs to do it. But the nice thing is that he's also got a son who does a really good job at it and loves doing it. And I've got a team of people, and I know a team of people in farm and food care and all over agriculture that do a really good job of communicating for the farmers that don't have time or don't want to because they're not comfortable doing it.
And just to be fair to all of our listeners, or to prospective farmers who want to talk about it, if you're a good penmanship, or you like doing rants, there's something for everybody to get involved. And audio, video may not be the cup of tea for all our farm listeners, but just find what you like and what you're good at, and don't be afraid to speak about your industry.
Absolutely, shouldn't be afraid at all.
That's right. So you've been going now,
Started in May 2010.
2010. And I bet you those first few contacts were kind of like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen?
Absolutely. Yeah. People always ask me if I knew I was going to be where I am today when I started, and I say absolutely not. But I think that's part of why I'm here. Because when I started Farm Boy Productions, I was in school, and it was a way to make more money to put towards school or personal stuff. But the point was that I didn't operate every second thinking this needs to be a full-time income within 4 years. I liked it, I enjoyed doing it, I fell in love with it, and that was what mattered at that point in time. And that just meant that by the time I was ready to graduate, I had built the business up and had enough contacts and clients and built up a brand, and I knew that it would go.
It's a very realistic approach. Certainly we can all dream of with this perfect business, but there's a couple or 3 years at the beginning where it's just labor of love as you develop it. So you went down that path, it worked out okay.
There's always times that I think, what more should I be doing to advertise, or what more should I be doing to get more work and get out there, and you always want to do better, but at the end of the day, I always fall back on I know I've done well, and I know I've put the work in, and it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
There's a need.
How many of you are there at Farm Boy Productions? There's probably you, and you wear many hats, I'm sure, but.
Yes, I wear all the hats, and I have a production assistant as well. So she's finishing school, and whenever possible, she comes out and helps me shoot, because it makes it a lot easier if you're running 2 cameras, having 2 people there. But I'm used to doing it on my own. But at this point, we just have a lot of editing to do, because I keep making more quicker than we can get the stuff done that we have. So it's a good problem to have.
As a DJ, I just love editing. No.
Exactly.
It could be a lot of work.
It can be. I do enjoy it.
Sure.
I do enjoy filling a space with something that didn't exist before, because you're literally creating from nothing. And I do enjoy that, and I also enjoy that I can constantly do new things and do better things, and learn and get better, and yeah. And
dream about the latest software, and that comes out of
equipment is the Achilles heel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm always looking at, is what's the next thing I can buy to make better video.
You ever Santa Claus wish list put together already?
Yep, absolutely. It's a standing document on my computer. Yeah.
It pops up for 2. You open the screen, and the first screen comes up. You would like to buy. Well, it sounds like you have a lot going on to go with Farm Boy Productions, and we'll certainly put that the URL link on our final broadcast posting, and people can follow up on that and see what you're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing, is that I am fairly active on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, and the nice thing is that I work for everybody, like livestock, crop, machinery, all sorts of different things. So I get to see a lot of different awesome parts of agriculture, and then people can kind of see what I'm up to and see the kind of stuff that I'm seeing through those.
How far do you get to travel? Like you're in Guelph, so a day trip to London's good, and maybe out to Kingston would be a big trip. But if there's work, you'll be there, I expect.
I've been to Ottawa area already 3 times this year.
Wow!
And I was in Saskatoon last year. I was in Winnipeg 3 times. I went to Edmonton. I'm already going out to Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta this year.
It's really growing a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And Saskatchewan twice this year so far. Things always come up.
You'll be the Air Miles champion pretty soon. Excuse me. Well, all right, let's play another song here, Bruce, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about your impressions of what people should know about agriculture from your perspective. And let's play the next song, and it is, I'm looking at this, it says Justin Moore is the artist, and the song is Letting the Night Roll. I hope this has as great a story as the other ones. Go ahead.
This one is the start off to the date. And it's the anticipation and the excitement in it. So yeah, there's almost a theme going here, eh?
Yeah, it's good. I noticed our listener, previous DJ Aleem was the yakking with Bruce here, and they're talking about as both fine young men, and well, anybody who's out and about looking for partners and that kind of fun. And here we are, another song about this young romance and things. So it's good. I'm just talking too much as a host. I just got to be quiet here.
Let the music do the talking.
That's true. We'll be right back, folks. Stay locked in. It's the Agriculture Show here in CKMS. See you in a short bit.
Hi, this is Bruce Sargent of Farm Boy Productions. You are listening to the Agriculture Show on CKMS Radio 100.3 Sound FM. The Agriculture Show is brought to you by the Waterloo Federation of Agriculture. The Waterloo Federation of Agriculture represents the primary producers in the region of Waterloo. Our goal is to promote the farming community in support of innovation, hard work, and compassion that is empathetic, of the region of Waterloo. The WFA strives to bring together the policy needs of farmers with the needs of society.
There you go. That's it. Thanks so much.
No mistakes.
No, that's all right. If you really want to, you could say, hello, I'm Bruce Sargent, and I just love pretzels. That would qualify as a good opening line, too. It could make a good laugh out of everybody.
Make everybody think a little.
I know. So, but once again, dear listeners, thanks for listening in, and we just hope to do that today, is bring a little news about agriculture to you, our urban listeners especially, because we know you're out there and we know you're interested in agriculture, and all, unfortunately, you're seeing, who gets the most time is the really extreme, there's all kinds of writers who want to promulgate all kinds of pretty drastic ideas around agriculture, and boy gosh, I don't blame the consumer a bit, because we've been kind of slack about getting our message out there. So
I always say that before I was born, for a very long time, farmers farmed and people were okay with that. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, people wanted to ask more questions, and whether it was technology or whatever the barrier was, that wasn't getting back to the farmers. And so that void was being filled with misinformation and just falsities, and people that have an agenda beyond sharing the information. They have some sort of outcome that they want out of it. And in the past, 4 or 5 years, that's changed now, and there's a lot of farmers on Twitter and social media and doing things like this and going on TV, and we want people to ask us the questions. Yeah. Don't ask Google, ask a farmer.
Yeah, and that's really good advice, Bruce. I know, we're lucky in the region that all of our listeners, the Kitchener Farmers Market, St. Jacob's Market they call it, it's close by, and if nothing else, get up there and ask a farmer about what he's doing. I know those poor guys, those people are glad to do it, but they sure do a lot of work on behalf of agriculture in Ontario.
Well, and people forget that, yes, we're in the greater KW area, but you've got farms all the way around you. And like a simple Google search, you would find farm gate operations that would, sell pumpkins or sell sweet corn or produce or anything. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of them that you could go out and visit. You just need to find them.
And our listeners too, boy, don't be afraid not to go to they have like Breakfast on the Farm is an interesting new
June 11th, 2016.
It's set already?
Yep.
Awesome.
And I'm sure the official announcement will come out soon, but if you watch the Farm and Food Care website,
yeah,
very, very soon you'll be able to get a free ticket to come out to Breakfast on the Farm, and I think it's the 4th one that we've done. And it's a great opportunity to get out to a real working farm and meet the farmers and see their livestock, see their barns, see everything. And the awesome thing is that we always make sure that we pick a farm that has lots of space for everyone else to come to. So yes, it might be on a dairy farm, but there will be chicken farmers there, and there will be crop farmers there, and there'll be lots of different learning exhibits so that you'll get to learn all about agriculture, not just one section.
And if that doesn't, that's a great event. And there's, there always are Royal Agriculture Winter Fair in Toronto, and that's got to be certainly the granddaddy of the urban and rural interface, because there it is, right in downtown Toronto. It's just full of kids from the middle of Toronto. They never even met a farmer. At least they.
Yeah, we go down to the Royal Winter Fair every year. C&E is also another option, but when we're at the Royal, we're there to show our cows, but we're also there to meet people and answer their questions, and that's a perfect opportunity for a face-to-face conversation with a farmer that grows your food. Absolutely.
That sounds like we get very well covered, and we know you are our listeners. School boards used to go out to farms and stuff like that, so there really is an interest out there. Not only there's even there was at one time. So they would send out a package. Agriculture producers sent out a package to school teachers, and school teachers would give them, a suggestion for a course that they would like to run. I'm not too sure. I'm sure they could still get that available.
There's lots of farmers doing programs kind of like that.
Yeah.
I know in Stratford, a lot of the chicken farmers, the egg farmers, they go into schools and do educational programs, and we bring kids out to our farm as much as we can back home. And there's lots of farms that I talked about, like the farm gate operations that they do agritourism, and they'll have a school program pretty well all year round, that if teachers want to do it, they're out there for sure.
They can do that. I'm just glad that there's so much out there for people so inclined. And I know even on my farm, just people want to. I sell some freezer beef, a few things, and it's always nice to have visitors from time to time. And the farm experience is thought to be quite pleasant by most people.
I always say there's no better feeling than knowing that you're feeding the world.
Yeah.
And you're doing your little part to feed your community, and you know, what better goal could you have in life than that contribution to society? Like, people wonder, you know, what legacy are they going to leave? Well, like, I know that we feed a few thousand families a week because of the milk that goes off of our farm. And I know lots of family and friends that do the exact same thing.
We're incredibly lucky in Ontario. My gosh, you can have food, whatever suits your fancy. If you like a brand like local or organic, or if you like it, all the food's safe. If you like it, different price ranges and so on, it's all out there. I mean, we're so lucky in Ontario.
We are incredibly lucky in Canada to have definitely one of the safest food systems in the world, and I know that for a fact because I see the programs, the food safety and the traceability programs that are on farms that I visit,
right.
and people can be well assured that if it's coming from Canada, it is incredibly high safety. And I think something that people need to remember is that we always forget that we have seasons in Canada. And, you know, we want strawberries in December. Those aren't going to be Ontario strawberries. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But if you're realistic and you look for the right sort of stuff, like produce, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, a lot of those are grown in greenhouses in Ontario now. So you can have Ontario produce pretty well all year round. You just got to look for it. It's definitely worth it.
So those are good messages for our listeners. If you're interested in going out and see about agriculture, there's ways to do it. And of course, you definitely want to go to Farm Boy Production to see what they're doing. There's so much out there. I noticed Farm and Food Care have small short films about farms.
Virtual farm tours. If you go on,
that's wonderful. Yeah.
I've worked on them. If you go on the Farm and Food Care website, there's an image towards the bottom that says virtual farm tours.
Okay.
And there's pretty well every type that you could want. And I actually worked on some of the egg farm virtual tours. Okay. So you can see anything you need to see right there.
Just like that. Zoom.
Yeah. Technology.
Yes. This is all good news, and I hopefully that you'll have a chance to do that. We'll get back. Bruce, any other fun things that happen when you're out farming? Do people ask you about where does milk come from, or brown cows? You kind of alluded to that when we talked about your home farm, your milk jerseys.
Yeah. And
what's the obvious question? Do they give
chocolate milk?
Chocolate milk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's easier to make chocolate milk, I guess you could say, but no. All cows make white milk, and probably what confuses them is that on the chicken side of things, brown chickens lay brown eggs.
True.
White chickens lay white eggs.
That's
the thing that people don't know is that they're essentially exactly the same. There's no nutritional difference whatsoever between white eggs and brown eggs, or chocolate milk or white milk. There might be a little bit of added sugar in that chocolate milk, but it's still a great product.
Well, has there ever been an aha moment when you're doing your work and you realize that you've done a great thing for young people or for some group? I'm sure every time you put together a video and it goes out there and you get the response and so on, does anything come to mind if I just throw out that question to you about a moment when you thought, wow, I'm doing something here?
One of the most successful videos I've ever done, view-wise on YouTube, was for the very first breakfast on the farm that we had in New Dundee.
Cool.
And people were coming around 9 in the morning, and milking would have been done by then. So we went a couple of weeks early and shot a video on how to milk. And the farmer, Graham, went through everything, the 6-step process on how to milk cows. And, people watched that when they visited the farm, but we put that online as well. And it has close to 150,000 views on YouTube right now. So that's 150,000 people that were obviously having a very big craving for learning how cows were milked.
Yeah.
And they found our video, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. That is a great story, and it's just wonderful to hear about that kind of uptake on something you've done. That's beautiful. I hate to admit what our uptake is here, but try like between 50 and 1,500 per show. It's not the simple as 150,000. So good work on your part.
It all starts somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. It's good fun. And, I encourage everybody out there, just find out about agriculture, whatever media works for you. Video is certainly the premier one with the visions and the audio. And then there's stuff like, there's lots of audio stuff out there. There's lots of blogs and there's lots of rants and all kinds of cool stuff.
Blogs are big right now. Yeah, there's lots of agriculture blogs that if that's what you like, you can find a lifetime's worth of reading that way. But I'm definitely a video guy through and through.
Well, you're good at it, so I would suggest you keep on doing that. Did you write it all by chance, or do you try any other media? Just want to think of them.
I do write a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
But it's mainly visual. I really like video and photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, my photography skills have gotten a lot better in the last little while.
Yeah, that's good. And with great equipment nowadays, you can do wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's play another song, Bruce. We got what's up next on the list here, in no particular order. It's Scotty McCreery, and he's singing a song called "Feeling It." Woohoo! What's this about?
This is a bit of a summer anthem. It's just about getting out there and having fun, being with friends, and taking it easy.
Okay.
Because he's feeling it.
Okay, let's play it. Just stay locked in, folks. The Agriculture Show here in CKMS. My guest today is Bruce Sargent. See you in a short bit.
Pop tops.
Okay, and we're back for our final segment here. Great song selection so far. Good fun. Did I ask you what the story was behind that song? How did you? Oh yeah, we did talk about it. It's feeling it. Just like leave it as it is. It's just feeling good, and away we go. So, I did ask you about your concert promotions, but you're not much of a concert goer. When's the last time you were out to see a show supporting all of our great Canadian artists and stuff? It's been a while.
The last stadium concert
Yeah.
I saw was Keith Urban, and that was middle school.
Wow.
So that was a little while ago.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you not a musician by chance, are you? You
I play a
surprised
little
me.
bit of piano.
See, there you go. I'm glad to
Yeah.
ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I want to get more into it because it certainly helps with creativity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. See, that's why they paid me the big bucks to think of these questions at the last minute. But we're glad I thought of it because, you know what, we're bringing you, the our listeners, the story of agriculture, and it makes a lot more sense when it's real people talking about what they really do. And hopefully you're picking that up on that. And we have Bruce Sargent in the studio today, and he's got a company called Farm Boy Productions, and we'll put that post on our podcast. And an important part of that whole long chain that brings food from the farm to you, the public, and his part is, of course, is some of the news and information and promotion of agriculture. All kinds of cool stuff. Just found out, he's doing stuff with Farm and Food Care, and you can go online and see that their website and those cool little videos that's on there about what it's like to muck cows and work on a chicken farm. How many have you done with those guys already?
Well, we did the calendar for 3 years, so 3 times 12. And then all the virtual farm tour videos, and there's lots of stuff in between that happens there as well. Yeah.
Okay. So this is our last bit of our show today. We'll try to get some more songs in for sure because we've got a whole whack more going. Which one do you want to hear if we have to choose?
It's got to be the nitty gritty.
Okay,
we only got one left.
That's the next one, then we'll play that for sure. We talked a little bit too about like Farm Boy Productions. So we talked about to you or the urban listeners, what you should know about agriculture. And I think we sort of came to a general conclusion that get out there and ask a farmer.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people have very busy lives nowadays. I know my life is very busy, and there's lots of things that I don't know about the world, and food is a very emotional topic because people are putting it into their body. They feel very connected to it. You eat 3 times a day, so I understand that, but people need to remember the number one thing is that the majority of these farmers, their family and themselves are the first people eating that food. And so it's got to be safe at that level before it leaves the farm. My dad always says that he'd never serve milk at our table that wouldn't be perfect to go out to the grocery store. And it's the same with any type of farming product because those families are doing it because they have a passion for it, and a lot of them are generational and were raised to do it.
Yeah, And our new farmers coming along too, they're in our area, then probably up by Guelph too, obviously there'd be lots of community shared agriculture operations going on. Or
The local food movement
Yeah.
is probably one of the biggest drivers for people wanting more information, and that's awesome. People just need to remember the source of the information, and with technology right now, it's very easy to find other stories. Go to your local farmer because they're there.
You've probably heard all kinds of stories from people about agriculture. We kind of touched on that a bit there. We talked a little bit about mom and dad still farming away up there, and brothers and sisters and the like. When you, what's next on your agenda for your business? Where do you see things going? If 6 years ago your job didn't exist, can we even imagine what 6 days from now will be like? What's happening next do you think in media and getting the message to farmers, out to the public about farmers?
Yeah, video is going to continue to be a huge element of that. Social media, especially Facebook right now, runs on video, and they're making it a bigger part of their operating system. But I think that the way video is looking, the next big thing is 360-degree video.
Oh, I've
Have
seen
you ever
some
heard
of
of
that
that?
stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it records the entire scene when they're shooting something. So the first video that I ever saw of it was actually in a fighter pilot cockpit, and you could turn around and see the plane, up above him, and turn the phone down and look down and see the plane below him. So I could see that being pretty cool in agriculture, because there's lots that we could show that way.
Yeah.
And then 360 easily leads into virtual reality, and using those goggles to go into a scenario. I could see that coming more to the forefront in the next 5 years or so.
And the big thing nowadays is people writing apps for cell phones and tablets and that sort of thing. I don't know. There's a pretty popular game. I don't play it, but it's that farm game.
Farmville.
Farmville. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
When my brother was little, my sister used to tease him that if he didn't get off Farmville, the real farm wouldn't be there anymore. So, yeah, apparently it's pretty addicting. I never started.
I never did either. I know friends that just love that stuff. So I don't know what to do applications are media for the public, and it'll bring you the price from Chicago or just whatever. I don't know what's next in that holds.
There's lots of technology getting integrated into farming. Some tractors drive themselves now once the farmer maps it with GPS. But that also means that they can farm that much more accurately, and they know exactly how much crop is coming off of that field, and it'll have recorded all of the weather through that year, and what variety is going in there, and they know exactly what they did and what they can do to improve next year.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had Julie Christensen was on here. She's a dean at Guelph, and there's still more jobs than there are people to fulfill those jobs. And if you're a parent, you've got a young person and teenager in high school. I had a guest in, just go to the Woodstock Farm Show, and if there isn't something in it that doesn't tickle your imagination when it comes to drones, which you have experience with, and all those systems.
Well,
there's stuff out there for people like that.
Agriculture needs HR people and accountants and scientists and physicists and everything else that exists out there. Agriculture needs those people.
Yeah.
You just get to work in the small little family that is agriculture, where people are only about 3 degrees removed, and you've got someone that knows somebody, but that's awesome. It's great to have a connected industry like that, and like I said, you might be an accountant for an agricultural company, but you still have a part in feeding people, and what better calling is there than that?
Yeah, that's true. As people choose to maybe find out more about agriculture, they'll find that there's lots of stuff to do in between actually growing the stuff and getting it to the customer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Lots of stuff for media stuff, lots of stuff for just high-tech parts to get there, lots of stuff and just, educating the public. There's a ton of opportunities there when it comes to agriculture. And agritainment, there's a whole other topic. That's, it's like wagon tours, and it's like pick your own strawberries.
Pumpkin patches, all that fun stuff. Yeah, Snyder Farm was a pretty cool experience to get to work for them to do that for your farm video.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Oh, that's where you did it?
Yeah.
So you've been in the area quite a bit. You're on the New Dundee ways quite a bit so far in your career.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff in southwestern Ontario, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's good thing. We want to play some more music here, so let's play another song. We got to make sure we get the nitty-gritty dirt band in here before we get too much farther on our show. We're getting close to the end, but let's play this song. Goodness, I remember this song.
It's a classic.
What's happening here?
It's a classic. I probably would have heard this song the first time at an aunt and her uncle's wedding, and I probably would have learned how to two-step to it.
Yeah.
And if this comes on, I have to two-step to it. It's just habit.
See, I'm going to ask you about this two-step. Are you a square dancer or something? What's going on here?
Not a square dancer, but two-stepping is my my alternative to silly white boy dancing. So I'd far rather two-step. We were at a Buck and Doe a couple of weekends ago, and this hadn't come on yet, and I made sure the DJ did so that I could get a good dance in before it was over.
Had that feel. Had made the feet want to go.
Exactly.
All right, let's play it. We'll be right back to the Agriculture Show. And my guest today is Bruce Sargent. See you shortly.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze.
Yeah, just listening to that their promo Julie Palladino put together with our other studios on King Street, so we had all kinds of traffic noise going on there. We're at our new facility here at the old Beamer Box Factory, 283 Duke Street West in Kitchener. And our biggest concern is when someone drops a box in the next door structure or is trying to fix some floors or something. But thanks for listening today, folks, to the Agriculture Show. My guest today is Bruce Sargent. And we just been talking all things agricultural. And so we're probably in the last bit of our show here. We'll certainly play one more song on our way out. But we are at almost end of our hour. We did start a little late, but I think we've got ourselves a good hour in here. I think we started at 2:23 today, and so we're almost 3:30. So that's, from a program standpoint, I love that. Good hour show is just great. Bruce, we just covered a lot of good stuff today. Anything else comes to mind that you would like to tell our listeners about agriculture? Funny anecdotes, or we talked a little bit about what's upcoming in agriculture. Anything come to mind about agriculture like pass on to our listeners?
I think the main thing that I'd just like to share is probably the biggest element of why I love my job is the people. The farmers, the people within the industry that I work with, they're all awesome people, and especially the farmers. Like, I can't tell you how fulfilling it is to meet these people and see how hard they work and the sacrifice they make and how much they love what they do, and like, they love it. It's family history for them. It's tradition. They like nothing more than to work 10 hours a day to run their farm and make food for all of us, and I'm so grateful for that, and I hope everyone else is too.
Good, well said. They work long hours, and then the season changes and you're on to something else, but it's certainly always busy. There's always something cooking there for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they're always at the mercy of the weather. Last week farmers thought they were going to get into the fields 3 weeks earlier than last year, and now they're realizing they're back on the same schedule as last year. Anything can happen in agriculture.
And even with the inclement weather, all of a sudden the livestock producers got to make sure that this generator starts, keeps the barns fresh air, all this pump milk.
So I got a good story for you. Last summer we were doing straw towards the end of the summer, and I was home helping my brother, and we were having to haul the wagons from quite a long ways away.
Yeah.
And we were on one of the last wagons, and I said to my brother, the clouds do not look good right now. Like, you should really just grab the truck, go get the wagon, bring it back, and we'll get this wagon, or get it unloaded. Well, he pulls into the driveway, and there's this like almost funnel cloud behind him. And so he pulls in, and we start unloading a couple of wagons, and the hail and rain starts, and it was a downpour, and it was one of those, I told you so.
It happens. Yeah, it happens. You get kind of a sixth sense for these things when you're out in the country after a while, that certain weather changes in atmosphere, pressure, heat, humidity, there's something cooking.
Farmers are amateur meteorologists, absolutely.
And they know that you can't change it, but it's really wise to be.
You got to work with it.
You got to work with it.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to do before we end up our show here today is I'd like to ask my guests, so what are you doing in the next 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? Just go as long as you can, Bruce. Tell us what's happening in the next 2 hours.
Next 2 hours, I'm going to find some hockey equipment because I'm actually going to be playing in the Farm and Food Care hockey tournament on Thursday.
Very nice.
2 weeks. There's a pretty good chance I might be out west.
Okay.
And 2 months, I will be running around like a chicken with my head cut off because that's what the summer's like in my job. Everybody wants everything while it looks good.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They make you have light sunsets and greenery, and
Exactly.
right, they want those shots. And
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah,
And then what, 2 years?
2 years. Too far ahead, maybe. Eh?
No. 2 years, probably business will be a little bit bigger, more people helping hopefully, and maybe have a little bit more of a role in primary production again if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Not tempted to put together a little strawberry stand or something like that. That's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is.
Those guys are special.
Yeah, that produce is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very seasonal.
We're going to play a song on our way out here. It's the artist is High Valley, and the title is "She's with Me." And tell us a little story about that. If
Yeah.
you'd like.
So I told you they're my favorite. She's With Me became the song that I came around about the time that I convinced my now girlfriend that she was allowed to call me her boyfriend.
Oh.
So She's With Me. That's how we kind of made it known to the world that we were together.
Excellent, and I'm glad you've mentioned some of this young lady who's a significant other at this point in life, and family and relationships are very important. So I'm glad you thought to mention that and make the connection. It's great.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Now, holy smokes! As you know, time flies by. It's been an hour. I can't believe it's been so much fun. Just want to thank you so much, Bruce, for coming out today, talking about agriculture. We talked about your special spot in it as a creator of media for agriculture. And just thanks so much for coming out and telling our listeners, our urban listeners, a little bit what you do.
Well, thank you for what you do, and thank you for having me. And I'd love to come back and share more stories down the road.
That's good. You'll have to start keeping a diary. Then you can have all these cool stories.
I should. I really should.
No.
Start a book.
Okay, good listeners, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in to today's Agriculture Show. We'll be back next week with episode number 155. My guest this week has been Bruce Sargent, and this is episode 154. We'll see you in 6 days and 22 hours. And if you eat this week, thank a farmer. Bye for now.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on